up, RJ?
What's up?
Hey, who are these people that inboxed you that I ripped them off?
I'm not gonna throw around their name.
Well, you got. Why can't you DM me? There's a private chat over here. Is it a stripper?
No.
Damn. Then who is it?
Let me read again.
Yeah, just tell me the deal. Just tell me the deal so I can snitch on myself.
Saw you back and forth with Corey. Just wanted to say privately, I appreciate you speaking the truth and not backing down. I and a partner did a deal with him, and the way he treated us and deceived us was very frustrating. We kept every text and Facebook message because he would threaten us, and we were ready at any time if he chose to do so. But again, I appreciate you speaking out.
That's either Scott Robinson or Chris Mayfield.
Okay.
And they're little bitches. They're bitches. Straight up. I like Scott. I hate Chris. Here's how that deal broke down, start to finish. I met Chris, had a cheeseburger with him in Arizona.
Are we live on YouTube?
Yeah, we're live on YouTube. I met Chris, had a cheeseburger with him in Arizona. I just told this story the other day in Roughneck Real Estate. Just told the story. Okay. So we had a cheeseburger in Arizona. He had this apartment complex, our Coleman apartment complex that we currently bought. Okay. Mm-hmm. He comes in and they're gonna close on this deal, all this and that. They leveraged this apartment complex and hung us with 30 houses that we didn't have to buy. We didn't have to buy the 30 houses, but they told us we had to buy the 30 houses in order to get the apartment complex. We never would have bought the 30 houses. So we paid $200,000 extra for the 30 houses because we didn't want to miss out on the apartment complex on a lie that they told us. Get this, on a lie. Now, I flipped out because we ended up going direct to seller because we had to keep the seller on board because they kept telling the seller that they were partners in the deal. They were not partners in the deal. So when the financing and everything that we were trying to get together wasn't going right, they couldn't properly explain it to the seller. They couldn't properly explain it to the seller, so we had to get on the phone with the seller. That's when we found out that we didn't have to buy the houses. Then they tried to charge us a $30,000 assignment fee for the houses. And we're like, you're fucking outside your mind. And we didn't pay them the $30,000 assignment. And I don't give a fuck who knows that. I don't give a flying fuck who the fuck. So who's next? Who's next on your list?
That's it. That's not what I got on here to talk about. I already told you I don't even want to get into that game.
No, absolutely. Look, I don't give a flying fuck. Like that right there, that whole deal, we still own those 30 houses. Get this, we still own those 30 houses. The city is mandating that we tear them down. Those 30 houses are going to cost us $400,000 or $500,000, and we'll never make a dime back out of them.
Okay.
The equity on the apartment complexes is going to pay for the houses.
Okay.
So now, ethically, they should have never told us that in order to buy the apartments, that we had to buy the houses in order to try to get a $30,000 more assignment fee. And I hope they come with the text. Chris, Scott, you little pieces of shit, jump in Roughneck to Real Estate and put it out there. Put everything you got out there. I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody. I don't give a fuck. So, RJ, why did it take this to get you on?
Because, look, I've already told you in the past, I don't like it when you go to blast people.
Not blasting nobody.
Oh, come on, bro. Like, I made the announcement of Titanium Chase.
Stop. Back up. Did you not post in Roughneck Real Estate the other day an actual functioning webinar?
Yeah, bro. That's called
Wasn't that right after I told everybody that I needed to refund their money for their webinar?
Yeah, that's called a passive-aggressive joke. That's not me putting you on blast for 27 minutes on a Facebook Live.
Yeah. Well,
nobody even got it. If anybody read that, they probably thought it was me making fun of ourselves for not even being able to put on a functioning webinar.
You hadn't posted in Roughneck to Real Estate in months before that, but you took this chance to take that shot at me.
Yeah, because you've been attacking me for months. That's me being passive aggressive.
How many people are selling skip tracing? How many people are selling the batch skip tracing as their own? That's who's skip tracing.
2 people.
2 people.
Yeah.
You and Quentin.
Yeah.
Okay. why whenever I come out and say that, why can't the transparency be there that, hey, I am making money on this affiliate. If you want to support my brand, why can't you even look at my point that I made there instead of saying I'm attacking you? Because I'm not attacking you.
You are. You came out saying this shit's getting out of hand, and I'm trying to deceive newbies.
Hold on. But at this moment in time, whenever you launched your skip tracing, fucking Quentin's got Skip Fleet. It's got the exact same little logo. Everybody's looking at it, and what are they saying? What are they thinking? And then Antoine has a skip tracing too, but I don't guess it's batches. I don't know how Antoine put his together, but it's all the same model. It's all the vertically integrated Max Maxwell model. It's the exact thing that I said on the deal. The only thing I was saying is, why not tell the truth? Why not say, this is what I have going on, instead of branding yourself as a skip tracing company, not a real estate investing company? It's a valid point. It's not roasting you.
No, the reason why, no. When you say this shit's getting out of hand and we're trying to deceive people, no, that's not what's happening at all. If someone asks you to go white label their product because the brand that I built is titanium, and they feel like,
and Skip Fleet, is that a brand?
No, that's a whole. I'm not Quentin. That's a whole different thing.
Did you even listen to the video?
Yes, I listened to the video.
The video in the video that you're referencing, I said, and the person that branded it without even putting their brand on it is completely mind-boggling. Something along those lines.
Okay, so one sentence in 27 minutes. You did it literally immediately after I posted on my Facebook.
Antoine launched his the same day.
Okay, I didn't even know that. I don't care.
No, of course you didn't. Of course you didn't.
Look, here's the funny thing about this, Corey. You just went live saying you have no time to consume any of my content. You don't know what's going on. But as soon as that came out, woo boy, you had a reason to go blast me in your group, because that's how you built your following, man. You have to have somebody to go after. You have to have somebody to say, ooh, RJ's not doing the right thing. Instead, you have my phone number. You could have easily called me. I called you that day. I called you multiple days. You even posted about it in Roughneck. But you wouldn't pick up the phone and talk to me about it. You wanted to do it here. Why? Because you got to put it out there for your audience. Your audience has to see the drama. This isn't feeding. This isn't content. This isn't helping anybody. Yep, Facebook Live didn't help anybody.
It didn't help anybody.
No. Who's it going to help?
The whole premise of the business. If they want to use titanium skips, what is it called? What's your website? Put it out there right now. I'll throw it in the comment section. What is it?
It's titaniumtrace.com.
Titanium Trace. All right. If they want to use Titanium Trace because they support you, right? Mm-hmm. They want to go use Titanium Trace. And you say, hey, here's the quality data we're going to get. Here's where it comes from. This is it. You want to support my brand. This is the place to go. Right? That's nothing wrong. To say I now have a skip tracing company, if I go out and I put my name on something, on top of something, I can't spell titanium. And RJ left the stream. He didn't get kicked off. He'll show up back down here if he comes back. Damn, I didn't get to ask him no real questions. But Scott Robinson, Chris Mayfield, there's RJ. RJ's back.
Fat fingered something.
It's all right. I'm not mad at you. Get this back up and right. So whenever I made that video, I was making one thing clear. I don't know what your margin is on that, and I don't care. When somebody approached me about it, I could buy them for $7. I could sell them for $15. That was the deal. I just want to make people aware of what they're buying into. It's not that hard. It's called transparency. This is what you're buying. The guy that wanted me to do it, we would have to make 1 million skips a month to get the 7 cents. 1 million skips a month to get 7 cents. And I didn't want no part of it. I didn't want to be a skip tracing company. I didn't want to be a promoter of that. It didn't make any sense to me, right? So I didn't care. All I was doing to make that live was to let people know, hey, look, this is what's going on in the world. This is a new way for anybody to make money. Don't get too caught up in it. Don't get caught up in what it is or what it isn't. Use whoever you want, whoever your favorite person is. It's going to be the same data over here, over there, and the next week. Nobody's going to come out. I didn't want people going and spending money with you and spending money with Quentin and running it side by side to do a split test and wasting money. And I even said it in the video.
No, you said that. I mean, but first of all, I don't know why you would ever skip two lists like that. I mean, side by side, but
people do it all the time. They want to know if My Plus leads, Batch, Skip Genie. They want to know what the quality of the data they're getting is.
Well, look, at the end of the day, we all know that data is in huge, you can't have enough data today, right? I mean, with the cold calling, the text messaging, the RVMs that everybody's doing, especially now with what's going on with the coronavirus, that's what we have to do. So, I mean, if you're worried about split testing and where you're getting your data, I mean, at some point in time, you just got to align yourself with the right company, and you're just going to trust that that data is going to be accurate. You've aligned yourself with Skip Genie. We use Skip Genie. We use Skip Genie for several years. I mean, you promote them, you use them. So
I use Skip Genie for the one-off searches because it's the quickest, fastest way to get a phone number. A one-off, they're unlimited now, $99. I don't make a penny from them. You get a one-off number, you can get on the phone with it. I've showed it a million times on I don't know how many different YouTube videos. We use Batch for all of our bulk skip tracing because it's instant and it's good data. I don't mind telling anybody where we get anything from. The only affiliate link I make money from, and it's only because of the stupid lawsuit, is the Batch lead stacker. That's it. That's it. Right. And I show people and I made that.
So the way this went down is I went out to Phoenix in December to be on Steve Training's podcast. I spent 2 days in Batch's office. Batch is already a service provider for Next Level Flipping. What that means is when you become a member of Next Level Flipping, you have a discount through Batch amongst other service providers like PropStream, Yellow Letter HQ, that you cannot get that discount anywhere else. It's the cheapest discount that you can get for Batch anywhere. The reason why we did that is because our group is so cheap that if you utilize these service providers, you're actually profitable by being in the group just through the discounts that you get. So I spent 2 days in Batch's office getting to know them, understanding how they get their data, where they get their data, why it's the best out there, just getting to know them as people. Got to know Brent Daniels really well, Pace Morby, other people out there. And during that conversation, that's when Brent Daniels approached me and said, hey, look, this is what I'm doing with my platform that I built on Wholesaling Inc.'s platform. You've created your own platform. It's not near as big as Wholesaling Inc., and it's probably never going to be a portion of that. But it's mine. It's 100% mine, not somebody else's. He said, you should have an affiliate. I talked to Batch about that. Batch said, look, there's no reason for you to go try to sell Batch skip tracing because it's going to be messy in consideration that everything else that you sell is titaniums. What we can do is white label it, and then you have a uniform front.
I said all that. Look, you're saying I was roasting you, but the video wasn't roasting you. It was saying, just say what the hell is going on. You tell them.
I only done one post. How can I even tell people?
I don't know.
All I said was, here's Titanium Trace. Here's the website. Damn, the website wasn't even working yet. And you were already on Facebook Live. Like, this shit's getting out of control.
It is getting out of control. But it doesn't matter. It's not just you, RJ. Like, look, here's the point. Here's all I'm like, you thought I rubbed you the wrong way that day. But you didn't know. You didn't know that everybody else dropped all this shit on the same day. And they might be with Batch too. I don't know. I don't give a shit. I do not care. I hope y'all all become billionaires selling skip tracing. What I don't want people to do is, have to pick between their favorite person and be buying the same data to split test or something stupid like that, wasting money where they don't have it, right? It's so much easier to be transparent and say, I'm getting my data from here. It's good data. Don't believe me. Here it is. If you support my channel, here's where you need to get it. people will support you. That was the point of the video. There is no, I'm taking a shot, I want you to fail. None of that. Like, and it almost, you know, whenever you say I built my platform roasting people, I was of the opinion that I built my platform buying and selling real estate. None of y'all saw me roasting somebody and said, hey, come on my podcast. That ain't why you had me on your podcast. You didn't say, Corey's over here roasting people, get me on the podcast. I've just been roasting people because I'm in a lawsuit with somebody right now that's probably paying a lawyer $100 an hour to watch this video, to watch me and you chop it up, right? That person, I've got a list this long of shit that's going to come out in court, right? I can't even talk about it. It's a list this long. When people called me about you, did I go on Facebook and say blah 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 blah? I called you. We got on a three-way with the guy that said it. We kicked his fucking teeth in, right or wrong.
No, absolutely.
That's look. These two guys in Arizona, they're saying I did something. This is what I did to them. I talked to them like they were little pieces of shit. Why? Because I believe they're little pieces of shit.
Well, look.
You know
this is what I was saying earlier, though. We have the same goals in mind. We're in a similar place in our lives.
I agree.
I just don't understand why you keep coming after me like you are.
Because you went in my group and said I can't have a webinar because I refunded people's money for a webinar.
Look, deep down, you know, when you read that shit, you laughed.
When I read that shit, I was like, this motherfucker, he wants it. He's about to get it.
You read it and you were like, damn, he got me pretty good.
I was like, RJ's roasted me. I can't even because I'm
Hey, I just want you to know that when I did that, Cassie kicked my ass for doing that. I just want you to know.
Look, but here's the deal. This is also why I wanted to have this conversation. People probably really believe out there that me and you are like Biggie and Pac right now. They probably really believe that we're actually mad at each other to a point that we couldn't have a conversation.
No, absolutely. And look, that's why I didn't want to have this conversation on YouTube. I just wanted to have it because at the end of the day, what I really wanted to explain to you was this is how Titanium Trace came about. This is the reason why I did it. And I agree with some of your concerns because why? I've been in the marketplace before. I went out and I tried REI Skip, batch skip tracing, Skip Genie. Like, it's hard, right? But at the end of it, you know what's even harder is when you get bad data, but you get a deal from it. Because then you go back and you buy more of that shit, and then you don't know why it didn't work, and then you start worrying about, is it cold calling, is it texting, is it something else?
Exactly right. And My Plus Leads is where we got our data forever. It's 25 cents. It was fast. It's data appending. I didn't know the difference between data appending and skip tracing. It doesn't really matter. Y'all can Google that on your own. But I same thing. We got deals off of it, so we kept using it.
Yep.
And once we switched over to batch, you know, especially with their lead stacker, it works 10 times better.
Yep.
It just works. I use Skip Genie because it's unlimited. And if you need to get one person, like when the other day we couldn't get in touch with somebody, we thought a sub 2 had hit a due on sell clause. They would no longer let us pay the number we had for the seller. They wouldn't give us online access. The original seller, we couldn't get a hold of him. We had to use Skip Genie to find him. Got good data. It's good for the one-off. If you're not paying the $99 a month for it, you're gonna eventually have to go back to it. It's unlimited. I couldn't sit there all day and do the bulk, and I don't like the bulk that I send off and have to wait for it to come back.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, we've done the one-offs, we've done the bolts with Skip Genie. And look, that's where it got really irritated for me because Larry's somebody that I've met before. I've had conversations with him. Cassie, we've promoted Skip Genie in the past. That's where I didn't like it, man. Look, sometimes you do things and I think you do it with the right intentions, but with the tone that you do it, the tonality of it, like it kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I've got Larry out there like saying, preach it, you know, and it's like, now I feel like Larry's coming after me too, you know, and it's like, Come on, man. These are people that I know, that I've talked to. I use your product, like.
But you gotta see it from Larry's side of things. When Larry was the only game in town, back forever ago, nobody had skip tracing. Larry had skip tracing. This was whenever these fucking one-off people would come into the group, like would come into whatever group and say, "I can give you skip tracing." You'd pay them $75, and you never hear from them again. Larry was a godsend. Everybody loved Larry then. Then they got their own products, and they disregard Larry. Like same thing with Propelio. Same exact thing happened to Propelio. The Propelio was a godsend. PropStream comes out and offers fucking affiliate links. Everybody leaves Propelio. It's a certain level of loyalty, a certain level of, hey, you know, Propelio's never paid me a dime other than me and Daniel did a deal together. We co-wholesaled a deal together. Never paid me a dime, but I still promote them every single day. Why? Because right now I can show you. Fucking right here on my screen. Stop sharing, share screen. I've got Propelio. Pulling comps.
So you want to know what's funny about that, Corey, is we actually believe that you should have both PropStream and Propelio. We use both all day, every day. I mean, I'm just like you. Pull up my browser and I've got both of them right there all day, every day.
But I'm not like what you're saying about the tonality is whatever. The only thing I'm ever trying to do in any of this is to make consumers aware of what they're looking at. I hate with a passion the people that come out and they want to give you this much so you'll pay for this much. Why not give this much and let them pay for this much? You can charge them the same price. You could charge $5,000 for this much and give this much every single day of the week. And that's the part that most people are missing out on because they always want to hold back. They don't want to go out and talk about it. They don't want to be in the process. They don't want to feel like they're giving too much information. And I've got a complaint list a mile long of people that built a platform, sold something. So they sold it for $2,500 or $600 or whatever, was going to deliver all of this stuff, right? Couldn't deliver it. And then when it finally came available, put it behind a paywall and told them that they got to pay $16,000 or $17,000 more to get access to something that they were supposed to get and wanting as a lifetime purchase. Shows up in my DMs every day. Do I go out and roast them? I don't go out and roast them. I say, too bad, so sad. You should be able to take what you learned for that and make that money back. I can't help what that person's doing. He's got his own motives and reasons. That's beside the point, right? I don't care. But
I mean, look, I'm the guy that went to the free seminar, then paid the $2,000 to go to the one-day event, and then swiped mommy's credit cards for $60,000 to learn how to do this. I mean, so I know the guru life. I lived the guru life. I went through it. I didn't get taught shit. I got taught what a double close was and what an assignment was. I didn't get told how to market. I got told to go buy shit off the MLS. So I know all about those trials and tribulations, but I sure as hell wasn't a whiny little bitch and went into Roughneck Real Estate and said, "Daddy Corey, will you go make sure my guru doesn't screw over other people?"
They come into Roughneck Real Estate, but they go to my DMs. 90% of what I'm talking about happens in my DMs. Because
and that's what I'm saying.
They don't want the smoke of the guru's following. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, dude, it's up to them. Like, they made the decision to pay this person that money. Buckle it up. You made a bad decision. Go do the work.
In some cases, in other cases, they paid for something that never was delivered.
Well, if that's the case, that's a whole different story. Look, at the end of the day, when I paid stuff, I thought I was going to get told how to do real estate investing from start to finish. I didn't get taught that. I got taught from people that were barely doing deals. I mean, I was probably doing more deals than them 3 months after I left their classroom, but it is what it is, man. I mean, it's a tough world. It's a capitalist society. I mean, you talk about, Propelio with the PropStream thing. I mean, look, I love Propelio. I like PropStream. At the end of the day, Propelio can't be mad at PropStream that they went out and they aligned with some of the biggest influencers in this space and gave them affiliates. They were willing to give up huge chunks of their money to build that platform.
They don't have to be mad at that. They don't have to. I promise you, Propelio is not mad at the affiliate links.
I know they are.
That's not what I'm saying. But when somebody switches teams, like this was A1 right here.
Mm-hmm.
But this person's going to pay me money, so I'm going to leave A1 and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put this flag on. If the product's inadequate, if it's not the best, like if it doesn't do the job right that it needs to do for the price point, that's one thing. Just because somebody pays money, you know what I mean? People offer me money all the time. I told Steve, whatever his name is, he might be the first affiliate link I ever took because he sent me a bunch of information and it read real well. I never looked any further into it because I was like, do I want to be a cheerleader for something, right? To make $30 a month and all of this and that. And then this guy goes out and this is what happened. This is an honest to God story. I got pulled into a deal. I got roped into a deal. They wanted me to help them and all this, and I was all gung ho, and I was really happy about it. The guy ends up being a fucking child molester. You know what I'm talking about? You don't know who I'm talking about. But I was going to teach for this person. I was going to get ownership and all this other goofy shit. And the motherfucker ends up being a child molester. Now, imagine being me finding out that it's child molester, because guess who was with me? Guess who was with me at 90% of our lunch meetings? Guess who was with me? Yes. And now I find out this motherfucker's a child molester. And it wasn't like it was very hard to find out. It was right out there in the open the whole time. I just didn't do the research. And at that moment in time, whenever all this other stuff started coming out, I was always like, you know what? I almost was going to, I would have been like front and center, like the fucking starring act of a child molester's business. Get what I mean? I didn't want no part of it. And I'm not.
I don't know who it is though, but that's crazy.
It was absolutely crazy. And Daniel Chad Moore was the person that told me. And he's like, hey, you need to watch yourself on this one. My loyalty to Propelio, to Skip Genie and all that is because they help me get deals. They help me do deals. They help me whenever nobody else. So to me, loyalty can't be bought. Nobody's going to come over here and say, this and that. I was on the phone with somebody yesterday that said, you should use your platform like this and do all this different stuff. And I get asked that all the time. And I agree that at some point it will be economical. I just don't agree now is the point. When I look at other people's business, yours included, and I see the shift go from, I want to do this to I'm going to join Next Level Flipping. I'm going to leverage my own brand to get people into this. Okay. And I think it's a wise business decision on multiple different levels at different times when the timing's right. I feel like now to current business environment, just like I just said, I think you, me, everybody that's going to make it through this isn't going to be able to make it through it by selling somebody on anything. I have a mastermind right now. I'm not pushing my mastermind because if somebody brought me $5,000 right now to join my mastermind, okay, could I bring them $5,000 worth of value? Maybe, but I've never gone through a fucking worldwide pandemic. The only thing I can't tell you how to bootstrap it up from this moment right here. Like, you know what I mean? I can tell you how to come up in a coming up economy. I can't tell you how to survive in a going down economy. I'm about to learn that lesson on my own. I might not even have a real estate business after this.
So what I've been able to, what we've done with Next Level is we've now changed it to where anybody can join the group for free. So you get a free month trial. And then when you're inside the group, we open it up to any member can request to not have to make their next payment just by filling out a Google Sheet. Let me know, hey, you have a need. You can't make your payment. Let me know, and we won't charge you. You can be in the group for free.
Okay, now this would be me because I've got a guy that I help out. He's in my mastermind. I help him out. I help underwrite his deals right now. And this guy is worried he's going to get laid off of work now. He's worried he's going to lose out on about $150,000 a year. He's got a small rental portfolio with a lot of equity, and he wants to buy more rentals. He wants to get to 15 rentals. That's his goal. Simple goal. Okay. But right now he doesn't want to buy going into this headwind because he doesn't know if he's going to be able to rent it and everything else. And I'm like, well, if you don't think you're going to be able to rent it and you've got 2 that are going vacant, then you need to put them for sale. Why? Why do you want to own rentals if you don't think you can get them rented? If you got equity and you think you're going to be laid off, you need to be trying to capture some of that equity. You at least need to know where the market's at on it. When you're dealing with this right now in this environment, if people come to you with these hard questions, and not every case is the same. Like, do you ever feel like, you know what? This might wipe us all out. None of us might be here in 6 months if we don't get a PPP loan. If we don't, if we can't get back to doing evictions, right? If we can just get back to doing evictions, I feel like we can survive indefinitely. But if we don't get back to doing evictions, if banks with their forbearance agreements, which we've been able to get forbearance. Did you get forbearance? Have you talked to TFMB yet?
I haven't asked for it.
Well, they're offering it. They're not. You don't even have to ask for it.
I'm not going to do it because where we are right now, we're in a pretty good spot. So I'm not even going to go down that path.
So with that though, do you ever feel like, there's a lot of uncertainty right now that me giving
So yeah, I agree. There is a lot of uncertainty. That's why, I'm regularly doing these webinars once a week because I want to get around people that like Don Costa that went through 2007, 2008 and lost it all. I want to hear, I know this is a completely different situation, but at least hearing how he's handling this situation, considering he's been through a crash. But I mean, like using your example there of that gentleman that, he's got a rental portfolio and he wants to build it up to 15. I would have told him the exact same thing, which is what we currently are doing, which is liquidate everything that you have. Sometimes you got to slow down and go faster. So right now, cash is king. If you have equity and things are still moving just as normal as ever on the retail market, you can list it right now. If it's in a good price range, it's going to go off the market, full price above,
What's a good price?
What's that?
What's a good price range?
Anything under 250. So if it's a rental, it's got to be in that price range. Now that obviously is depending upon market. I'm referring to DFW right now. But assuming he's in Texas somewhere and it's a rental below 150,000, then that should fly off the market. As long as he's in a somewhat of a major metro area,
I agree. But the only reason why I told him to list it wasn't to sell it. It was to know what the data really is, because uncertainty breeds uncertainty. So if I'm
okay, but let me ask you this: how long has he owned these rentals?
I think he's owned them several years. But
so say it's been 4 or 5 years, he was still buying at the topper part of the market. We're now headed where the prices are going to go down. So you need to be cashing out of those rentals to get your cash to prepare for when we're down at the bottom and ride the wave back up.
If it's executable, I think selling right now is probably a month late. I think
maybe
the only reason I think that is because right now lenders are having trouble, right? So even if I want to buy, getting the actual loan across the finish line is really hard right now.
What lenders what lenders are having problems? Hard money lenders.
No, we still got hard money lending.
I know, but I'm saying what lenders are you referring to that are having a hard time right now?
Go talk to any mortgage lender right now. Go talk to any Freddie, Fannie, any conventional right now with the underwriting. The way that it's going is it's getting they're changing what your DSCR has to be. They're changing what the loan to value can be. Everything's a moving target. So you could rate lock today, but they're going to come back and say, okay, we need to pull this credit right now before we can close. And people aren't getting their loans across the finish line. Deals are falling apart in the fourth quarter like never before, where you never had those problems, at least from the people I'm talking to.
So see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we've only had one deal to date fall out of escrow due to the coronavirus. The other one, now we have had a couple in Hawaii that we had to get creative because they were using hard money loans, though. the hard money lenders, they got hit first and the hardest with their capital partners backed out. So we had to come in and get a little bit creative. We had to do a lease option on one and we had to do seller finance on another. But as far as our retail listings that we've had in DFW, we got one closing a day that there was no issues. We got another one closing next week.
What price?
No
point?
issues.
What price?
Say
point?
again.
What price point?
What are the price points of those? The one's 160, 165. And then we got, what is the Billings lease?
We've got one at 265.
265
We've got one at 340.
and 340.
Retail or investor?
Retail.
Okay. So retail buyers are still able to buy.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we have yet to see someone be in escrow and then say, we cannot perform due to COVID-19 and the underwriting, something changed, the rate changed, underwriting, nothing like that has happened yet. The only time it's ever happened is with a hard money lender.
Okay.
So,
Talking to traditional lenders weekly.
yeah, and I mean, obviously Cassie's a realtor, so she's talking to, mortgage officers on a regular basis. And with these listings, and some of these are buyer's reps that she has that we're talking to,
So, has anybody reached out and tried to get themselves a loan, the end product loan that they were getting before all this started for an investment property? The secondary market stuff like the 7%, no verification stuff's all gone.
Oh, so you're talking about like if I wanted to go get something from TFMB right now for a rental property.
TFMB is looking at one of our properties to do a loan on right now.
But I'm asking, is that like what you're talking about?
I'm talking about the secondary, like it was all hedge fund funded shit, but it's like 6.25% to 8% interest, 75% LTV, like 4% origination, like stupid, like
I actually had this conversation the other day with somebody talking about a hedge fund because they were saying their hedge fund was wanting to lower their money down. They didn't want to put $5,000 down. They only want to put $1,000 down or something. But we actually just
RJ fell out of connection. He got away from the Wi-Fi. Won't even let me add him back. Come on. I wonder if he can still see me. Waiting on RJ to come back. I would imagine Facebook user, this right here, is probably Andrew. But this has been RJ's coming back on.
see me.
I can't see you, but I can hear you. I can hear you, but I can't see
Yeah, I don't know why the video. If I turn the video on, it turns my audio off.
Well, we'll just look at your little dot.
Well, I was going to show the house. We just sold the hedge fund that also closed in 2.5 weeks. So, I mean, I know that there's issues coming, and I know that there's issues probably happening right now. But I can only go off the experiences that I'm currently having. And maybe it's just blind luck that we haven't had any of those issues yet,
I don't think it's blind luck. And the other day, whenever you talked about selling your rental portfolio, we chopped it up on there for a minute. I'm not sure, as far as we're concerned. We've collected, I think, over $100,000 of $120,000 worth of rent. The rest of it normally comes in kind of slow anyways. We've got 13 holdovers from last month that we weren't able to evict, so we got at least 13 people living on this rent-free right now. And we might end up with some more, but we sent them all the resources instead of an eviction letter this time. told them where to find unemployment, told them where to find resources for rent, explained to them how important it was that they pay rent so we can maintain the property. And we're really kind about it. But at the same time, I look at some of the people that are trying to flip into this headwind. We're about to lock up to a property that is $135,000 is what we're going to lock it up for. It's probably a legitimate $360,000 to $400,000 property dolled up. We're not going to flip it. Obviously, it cash flows at 135. That's why we're buying it. What are you seeing from your perspective on flipping houses? I mean, the people that earn their living flipping houses right now, money's hard to get access to. As an investor on the backside, if you're going to refinance that note and you're talking to your conventional lender, I mean, they're at least with us, a lot of products are no longer on the table. A lot of other products, your credit score requirement, your employment requirement, things are changing every single day from the lenders we're talking to. So how do you tell somebody how to buy in this market right now that we're in?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult decision that you have to make, especially if you're making it most of your revenue through flipping. I mean, quite a bit of our revenue recently has been from flipping. And, granted, in January, I made the decision that we were going to transition more to wholesaling because I thought that there was going to be some kind of correction. I did not foresee a worldwide pandemic, but so we're a little bit safer in that regard. But for the people that are hardcore flippers, what I'm seeing is they're lowering their prices where everybody was okay at the 75 to 80% of ARV minus repairs, because where we were in the marketplace, now everybody's talking about wanting to be at 60 to 65%, and then on top of that, discounting the ARV, where you might pull the ARV and say, hey, it's 200,000. Well, I've got to discount that by 10%. So you're talking about now you're calling the ARV 180, and then you need to be at 60 to 65% minus repairs. And if it doesn't sell as a flip, that's where you have to convert it to something like an owner finance or rental property. I think at this point in time, you can't go into something with only one exit strategy. That's just not intelligent with where we are with the uncertainty of where we're going to be and, tomorrow, much less where we're going to be 6 months, 12 months from now. So,
I agree.
I will say, I think if we get the ship steered in the right direction here in the next couple of months, Stephen Morris was on my podcast the other day and he said this, and I thought it was brilliant. He said this could be the quickest recession and the quickest boom ever that we see in history, where we just the bottom falls out, but then we rise right back up. I do see the potential of that potentially happening. I don't want to say count on that, but the reality is that could very easily happen when the economy gets flipped back on, if we're able to do that here in the next couple of months. So,
is there a price point that you're staying away from in the DFW market now?
I'm not going to go above 250,000, which that was something I made. I made that decision like 6 months ago, but even more so now.
Do you have any inventory right now above that you getting any data on?
Oh yeah, we've got, actually, funny story. We had a listing at 450,000 in Dallas. We were at it when I was bitching back and forth with you on Facebook. That's where I was sitting at it, because we've got an inspection at it tomorrow. We finally went under contract after being on the market for a year, and we contracted it this weekend. And I'm like, this thing, there was nothing wrong with the house. It's been sitting on the market, and then lo and behold, the coronavirus comes through, and then we finally contract it. We've got another house on the market in Bishop Arts. We're at 419. Showings are very slow. We've got the castle that we've owned for as long as I've been alive. We're sitting at 1.2 million on the market. So showings very slow on that. So that luxury market, those higher price points, I mean, it's basically dead right now. So
one thing I will say about all of that, imagine right now sitting in New York, paying whatever they pay for rent, $6,000 a month or something, knowing that you're working from home, making a living. You know what I mean? Still able to support all that, but just lost all the lifestyle that New York provides.
Yeah.
And imagine going to be sitting there well after the rest of the country goes back to work. You're still going to be locked indoors. I really can't help but think that Texas is going to look a lot more appealing to a lot of people in some of those real strong suburban areas that are completely on lockdown. I mean, that's just an opinion. And a $1.2 million house for somebody that's sitting up in New York right now with a ton of equity, I think the luxury market, I mean, it's just an opinion, but I think as soon as people from New York and California can go shopping, I think the luxury market will see an uptick.
So I just interviewed a guy. His name's Keir Weimer. He's a luxury broker in upstate New York, but he has an office in Manhattan as well. And he basically he's a 7-figure earner. He has 3 businesses that are 7 figures plus. And, from his perspective, what he's seeing from clients in New York right now is everybody is just standing pat. They don't want to list anything for sale because they don't know what's going to happen. And I found that pretty odd because you would think that there would be people that's like, hey, we need to sell now because I don't see this going up and I don't see it staying flat. I only see it going down. So why wouldn't you want to sell? I thought that was odd that he said that the people in New York right now are just not wanting to list. Even people that had told him, hey, come April, I want to list my house for sale. And now here comes April and they're like, hey, I don't know if I want to list my house for sale right now. I thought that was a very odd statement and like data that he provided to the podcast.
It's happening here too. It's happening. We've had several of the agents that we work with have lost their listings because people don't want people coming in and out of their houses. They don't want people walking in. You know what I mean?
Well, but some of these are like vacation homes that are secondary homes up by like Saratoga Racetrack and stuff like that. That's what he was referring to. And I get like, hey, if you live in the house, you don't want random strangers, especially in places like New York. But in a vacant property that's a vacation home and you were already thinking about selling it, why wouldn't you go ahead and list it?
Well, I would list it just for the same reason we talked about earlier, to get the data. I would want to know what it actually, how the market is moving. I would rather have a shitty offer to turn down right now and at least know that shitty offer exists than, list it when I have to sell and get no showings, no offers, no nothing. And then, you know what I mean, have no data, not know if I made the right or wrong decision. At least if I list it right now and it doesn't show, I know that, well, it's about to be rough. I'm about to have to rent this thing out or owner finance it. I'm all ready to plan B or C instead of waiting until things get better to see what's going to happen. But, we almost listed our Waco, a couple of our Waco rentals because silly things were happening in the neighborhood and people were paying way too much money. I don't know why we didn't. I think the only reason we didn't is because we didn't want to have to go to TFMB and ask for a partial release. I didn't think we would get any money. You know what I mean? We figured that TFMB would take it all to principal. And so, having the cash flow versus, just paying down the debt didn't make a lot of sense to us at the moment. But now we're looking back going, I would at least like to what it would have done at that price point then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if you list it for $100,000, even though it's stuff selling there for it, and you only got $18,000 in it, and it doesn't show, you're like, oh man, the market's shot. When really, it's probably pretty good deals still at 60. But I don't really know. Overall, when you're doing this right now with everything you got going on. Are you going to focus more on real estate or are you going to focus more on the next level flipping side? Which side do you think is not necessarily easy, but what's the vibe been from both sides of it? Like what real estate's obviously uncertain, but what's happening over there? People jumping off that ship too?
No, we haven't seen any turnover from our members. I think people appreciate having the community to be able to bounce ideas off of, as well as, a lot of people are utilizing those service provider discounts that, it doesn't make any sense to release $100 fee for next level flipping, but then you got to pay $200 more for systems to go generate leads. So, if you're net, profitable $100 by being a member in the group, just in savings on vendors that you're using, whether it be PropStream, Yellow Letter HQ, whatever it is, then it's a no-brainer. But as far as my focus, my focus is always going to be on real estate investing and titanium. We've got too much going on for my focus to be too much split in the different directions. We have a pretty, we have a good team at Next Level where we can kind of allow each other to handle different Zoom calls and customer or member engagement and things along those lines. So I don't have to 100% be checked in on each one of those calls and things like that. But, for me, I would say it's probably more like 80-20, where it's 80 titanium and then 20% for Next Level. Just because, I'm always going to be the real estate guy. I never want to be anything but that. That's where my love and passion is.
Are you talking to a bunch of sellers right now? Like, have
Yeah.
you? I probably don't talk to enough sellers, but I never talked to enough sellers because that wasn't a big part of, you know what I mean? Like that wasn't
Right.
I didn't earn a lot of income from that side of the business. So that was kind of a deal that was kind of set up on its own. I've been talking to sellers. I decided to jump back in and talk to more sellers because I want to know what the vibe is.
Right.
I want to know what their worries and concerns are and how soon they're looking at selling. I've never seen a bigger amount of resistance from sellers than right now. Like it's almost like pulling teeth to get anything, to get any traction with them at all. Normally, whenever we do marketing, do outbound marketing, we get a somewhat warm response. We get appointments. We run probably 10 or 12 appointments a week. We're not getting that anymore. And it's not like Corona fears, like them being like, hey, I don't want you to bring Corona in my house. It's just they don't seem to want to sell. They seem to be hunkered down right now. Has that been your experience?
Yeah, to a certain degree. We still see the people that are in awkward situations. For example, yesterday I talked to a seller. He inherited his father's property that passed away, a couple of years ago, and it's just sitting vacant. And he's highly motivated. He's got to get rid of that. So, we made a sight unseen offer, and he accepted it right on the spot, which obviously made me slap myself in the face because that means I offered him too much. But at the end of the day, we get a contract on it. So I still see those people, but the people that are like owner occupants, yeah, I see a lot of pushback in that regard because they're like, where am I going to go in these times? Obviously, the people, with the mortgage forbearance going on, the lack of evictions for landlords, I thought that was going to be like, hey, we need to be targeting landlords. I really don't see a whole lot of landlords that are more motivated as much as I thought. I thought going after Airbnb owners was going to be something, but from the data that I've seen, I'm seeing a lot of the Airbnb owners are more going the traditional route and just listing it instead of trying to sell it to another investor. So, yeah, it's the appointments, the offers has slowed down over the past couple of weeks, but that's also because everybody's working virtually. So there's a part of me, it's like, are we still putting in the same amount of effort? And I could go track those KPIs. I haven't done it this week to see was there a significant drop off in the amount of texts or cold calls that we sent out last week in comparison to the weeks before. But
we've been struggling with that. We've had a lot of VAs run into being able to work issues. We don't know what's going on down there, obviously, but you know what I mean?
Right.
The volume has definitely gone down. We did hire an in-house girl. She actually messaged me since we've been on here and said she's out of money to text message, so I'm trying to put $100 on right now. You know,
All right, I got one more question, then I got to go because I got to jump on my podcast.
what question? You got a question for me?
No, whatever you got for me.
Nah, like look, RJ, don't. I mean, we ain't got to be like this, man. I know I get all the credit when we're like this, but we don't have to be like a fucked off married couple.
Hey, it's okay.
We can jump on here and chop it up anytime you want. I promise you, I'm not trying to grow my following. I'm just trying to talk shit on Facebook like I've always done my entire life.
It's okay.
2009, Corey was talking a completely different time of shit. This is Chili Fest time. Have you ever been to Chili Fest, RJ?
No, I haven't.
If we survive Rona, we're gonna put this down right now. If we make it out of Rona next year, we're doing corporate Chili Fest teams.
Corporate Chili Fest teams. What is Chili Fest?
Chili Fest is a pasture party in Snook, Texas, where we build things out of stuff. We just take leftover construction material and we go down and party with a bunch of college kids. And we made Chili Fest like in 2009. Right now, I've got all the Chili Fest pictures coming up over and over again, where you like take leftover deep freezes and make them into big coolers, and you fucking Egyptian your beer up to next to the stage, and you stand on top of the deep freeze and sing Texas country music and have a great time. But we used to camp out with like $10,000 cash because we collect it from all of our friends, because you have to buy all the wristbands at once, and then you had to wait in line to make sure you got enough, like your little spot in the pasture, like you got like a 10 by 15 spot, depending on how many people you had, how much real estate you could get out there. And then you go out there and take old couches and fucking tents and everything else and construct a place to sleep in the mud and party your balls off and have a bunch of sex in porta pots.
Let's do it. Sounds fun.
I mean, but now that I'm grown, like, and didn't take advantage like of life, like fully over the last, I'm like, man, if there's anything I would rather be doing right now, I would rather go to Chili Fest one more time. If we can survive Rona, I want one more Chili Fest in my life. So let's put it on the map. But I don't want people to come out and think that me and you are not friends. We're definitely friends, and we might talk shit and throw, you know what I mean? Like, but it's not coming from a bad place. Like I'm just glad that you didn't ask me any difficult questions and I could only talk theory. You know, I said that because I went and checked your Facebook before I did this, because I remember a long time ago you put Titanium Investments Maine up, and I was like, what in the fuck is RJ doing? Like, you don't know nobody in Maine. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how many times I typed out how the Maine real estate market was doing and fucking erased it, but then I went and looked at your Facebook and you took down your Titanium Investments Maine. I knew that in my heart that you just put that out there so you could attract somebody in Maine. But I wanted you to have
Ryan Giambosta, I think is his name. That's the guy I know in Maine.
Is he? Do y'all? I mean, is there anything?
He sent me a couple of deals, but I don't know anybody up there. I knew one guy in Rhode Island, and we were going to try to do stuff in New England together, but it didn't work out.
It never does, and that's the part that people miss out on. But that's what I really want to talk. Like, if we wanted to sit down and have a real conversation, like not just start out yelling at each other and Chris Mayfield. That's what I did at the beginning. If we were going to do that, if we're going to have a real actual conversation, I would want to talk to you about why you decided to try all 50 states and how you, because people ask me about your business all the time, and I tell them the best I can tell, RJ's good at marrying things that need to be married and getting in the middle of it and getting his piece. And that's not me throwing shade. I mean, that's Trump.
No, if I were you, I'd say the same thing.
Well, I mean, Trump, everybody thinks Trump owns everything that says Trump on it. He don't own everything that says Trump.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But there are people that would like to at least try it at some point. As long as I've been seeing RJ on the internet, which was the very first time I ever noticed you was when you reached out to me about your golf tournament. you know, you've been growing that thing out, and it seems like you had that vision for a long time, to kind of do those things, to kind of marry money with deals and your talent behind the lines to help execute the deals for the people that need that guidance.
Mhm.
But I also think, if we're being 100% honest, you also realize along the line of how hard it is too. Because
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've tried to do it, I've just tried to do it in counties in Texas. And I'm like, this is like pulling fucking teeth. Like,
Yep.
I've given you everything to do. And all you got to do is make the text message or the calls, and you didn't do it. And then when you do it, you do get a deal, but then you get a deal and then you stop doing it. You know what I mean? And then you get broke again. So you want to start again, and it's not that easy, you know?
Right.
I feel bad because I feel like I'm letting you down, you know, and that's my own personality coming out. You know, it's like, I don't want to let people down. So I just, you know, like Spoon's been the only one during all of this that will consistently do the work. You know what I mean? That will consistently show up, go on the appointments, make the phone calls that will, you know what I mean? That'll do tasks. And that's why, you know, Spoon and us now have a partnership together. So,
Right.
but yeah, to do it across 50 states, I imagine it at least contributed to some of your baldness.
A little bit. It's definitely the grayness that's coming in the beard for sure. So,
Well,
but hey, buddy, I got to get on this podcast, but appreciate talking this out, and we can still be friends for a little bit longer.
you know, I want to be friends. You know, I talk shit because I talk shit. Like, I'm going to go, as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to go talk shit someplace else, and it ain't even going to be about you. So don't worry about it.
All right, buddy. Bye.